Happy new moon in Libra. This is Kristen here, giving you another lunar report. So, this is a big day. It's Friday, October 5th is when I'm filming this in the morning. And what is happening today is that Venus is starting her descent into the underworld. And why am I talking about this in Libra with the Libra new moon? Well, Libra is ruled by Venus. So Venus has been our evening star, and she has disappeared from the horizon and is in the underworld, going through the realm of our subconscious, and will reemerge, I believe it's November 16th, as the morning star. So she's going to go through this deep process, dark process, and so are we. And she'll reemerge as the morning star with her beautiful, renewed sense of Venushood, her renewed light. Okay? So, this Libra new moon, it's a dark moon, right? It's the new moon. It's the time where we plant new seeds for the next 28-day cycle. And not just 28-day cycle, but 6-month cycle, which culminates with the Libra full moon on the other side of the season, or on the other side of the, springtime. So when the sun's in Aries, then we'll have a full moon in Libra. So right now we've got the sun conjunct, meaning the same degree, being right by or in alignment with the same degree as the moon, right? That's what gives us the new moon. So what is Libra? Libra is the sign of balance, of fairness, of justice. It's a feminine sign. Perhaps it's more androgynous. It's equal light, equal dark, equal masculine, equal feminine, equal night, equal day, right? We've got these polarities that Libra grapples with, is very aware of the light and the shadow within herself, himself, and the world. Speaking from a Libra who has a stellium of planets in Libra, meaning 3 or more planets. I've got 5 planets in Libra. My Mercury, which is my mind, the way I think, is in Libra. My Venus, the way I love, is in Libra. Saturn, the Lord of Karma, is in Libra. Pluto, the subconscious soul work, is in Libra. My sun is all in Libra. Some of those are really tight conjunctions. So a lot of my life work is definitely in this realm of relationship. And relationship is what? Relationship is life. Speaking from a Libra, a heavy Libra. But we are in relationship with everything. We're in relationship with our environment. We're in relationship with life itself, the way we treat our own bodies. That's our primary relationship. And the way we treat ourselves is the way we see the world, right? So if we see the world pretty harsh, we might be treating ourselves pretty harsh. If we're seeing the world unloving, we might be treating ourselves pretty unlovingly. If we're seeing the world as critical, we're probably pretty critical on ourselves, right? So this is the interesting mirror that life is to us. And Libra really understands this. Libra is the mind. It's a cardinal air sign. It's a very sharp intellect. It's very observant. It's processing. It's taking in information all the time. And Libra is the justice card in the tarot deck. Okay, so what is justice? Justice isn't just judicial justice in the world of law and order. We're talking about bringing cosmic justice into this realm. We're talking about balancing the scales of the cosmos inside of this human expression. So what do we want? We want things that are fair, that are balanced, right? We're not going to quickly go to defend any opinion. And some people might think that Libra can be aloof in that observation mode. Yet Libra sees two sides to every story. And in some philosophies, there's 8 perspectives to any one topic that have a truth. That actually any one subject is actually an 8-sided kind of octagonal geometry, right? So how can one person be completely accurate about any one thing? And that's what makes Libra seem indecisive. Is because it's deeply evaluating perspective. And often it can exclude itself in the perspective. Getting to understand what the Libran energy feels actually inside of her own heart, soul, mind can be a long process because the energy is so experienced through the other. So a lot of times, you know, at least in my life, I have found it easier in some ways to look at other people's life, hold space for them, and then learn about life through that space holding process. So Libras can be a very wonderful, objective space holder in the world, to be the witness, to hold the space, to be objective, to be non-judgmental. I'm not saying all Libras are non-judgmental, yet, you know, we're both masculine and feminine inside. There's a real balance of nature. At least that's the potential, you know. I might have been at some points the most off balance, or, you know, even now, you know, maybe the most off balance person. Maybe like the goal is to be balanced, right? And like the most off balance characters are in the sign of Libra to do that work of balancing. So, you know, none of this is absolutely true. That's a very Libran statement. It's like not wanting to claim truth, you know, because it's like, well, it's objective and there's other opinions and we got to listen to those opinions too and come up with a collective process and be very diplomatic. This is the sign of diplomacy, right? And this is why like Libra sometimes when it like has an opinion, it's like, wait, you know, it's not really comfortable with that because immediately you have a counterbalancing thought, you know? So it takes a while to really come up with, you know, an absolute statement. And even then, you know, usually when Libra actually does make a decision, it's pretty thought through and final. It can be a very compromising energy, the Libran energy, right? It can really, you know, really understand the other and where they're coming from, and have compassion for that person, that place coming from their experience and that opinion being formulated from that process events that they had that you didn't have. You know, there's a lot of understanding and compassion for the other's experience. So what we're being asked in this time of Venus retrograde into the underworld, the light is getting really nice outside. Okay, what is Venus? Yeah, let's talk about Venus, the qualities of Venus. Venus is love. Venus is feminine. Venus is beauty. Venus is this like omniscient, sparkly energy. It's the auric field. It's the energy field. You know, and you think about the light of Venus. Venus is the only feminine planet in our whole solar system. And we have our moon, thank goodness, to help us with our emotional body to process the energies. We have Venus on one side of the Earth or in one part of the orbit, and then we've got Mars on the other part of the orbit. Those are our closest orbits to Earth, right? So we've got this masculine and this feminine energy right there. And Venusian energy is feminine. It is, even though I say like the Libra is the balanced calibrator of the masculine and feminine, it is a feminine, it is a soft, it is a beautiful energy. And that is what this Libran quality is. It is the energy field. So as we're going through this Venus in the underworld, it's taking us through a deep evaluation of how we are radiating, what we're attracting. What is your reality right now in relationships? How are you showing up to your primary relationship yourself? And how is that way of showing up for yourself being reflected in your other relationships? Via romantic relationships, friendships, children, animals, the earth, your consumer habits. You know, how are you treating your life? And these are very deep evaluating questions because really ultimately how we're treating this energy is how we're treating the feminine, right? We're talking about Venus. We're talking about the feminine. How are you honoring the feminine in your life? And I'm not talking about the woman, although she represents the embodiment of the feminine, of creation, of every human being on this planet has come through a woman's body, right? I know they're making robots now. You know, I'm not talking about AI. I'm talking about humans with souls, spinal columns, like the gift of life has all come through a woman. Now, how are we honoring the feminine energy? The feminine is inside of every single one of us. We all have an energy channel, the Sushumna, or the Jed, and if we want to talk Egyptian. And we all have Ida, and we all have Pingala. Ida being the feminine force of energy, and Pingala being the masculine force of energy, right? And that's what consciousness, how consciousness moves through the system. So we all have this feminine quality, and this is, what is this feminine quality? The feminine is our value system, right? This Venus is our values, how we value our body, how we value our relationships, how we value love and beauty and romance and the arts and creativity and culture. You know, this is really, it's a very creative energy, it's creation, it's art, it's expression, it's love, it's that creative cauldron that holds the energy that can create life. And how are each of us honoring that within ourselves and in each other? How are we treating other human beings at the grocery store? Are we holding the door open for each other? Are we, serving the other moment to moment? Are we smiling, from our souls at the people, tired doing their job, for the 100th time of the day, and then they see you and they're like, like, how are we caring for each other? It's caring. How are we self-loving? Are we holding boundary for self-pleasure? I'm not talking about sexual self-pleasure. I'm talking about, having time to be with your friends, having time to take your walk, having your time to meditate, having your time to exercise, having your time to cook a nice meal. These things that are very self-caring, self-loving, and that make you a stronger, better, more present person, right? The primary relationship is with self, and then that translates to how you support the other, how you show up for the other. So this Venus retrograde and this Venus new moon, it doesn't stop at this new moon, right? Because this Venus retrograde is a 40-day, 40-night cycle, re-emerging on November 16th. Maybe I said that. Today's October 5th. I think it's the 16th. November 16th is when it re-emerges as the morning star. We are going through this evaluation process. And I think that's a very Libran thing. I think that, let me ponder that. We all have work to do. I mean, am I completely satisfied with where my life is right now? I can simultaneously be very grateful for everything that is, and have so much gratitude for this moment, for my beautiful Sedona, for my beautiful house, for my resources, and this kind of stability and, commitment that I have made to myself and my work. And there's a divine discontent, right? I know that I'm not in my most highest expression of what my soul potential is. And how can I cultivate more support for myself to become that? How can I upgrade my diet? How can I reach out to more friends and have grow more love in my relationships? How can I set the intention to dream of, what partnership for me really looks like and feels like and would be a good match for me at this stage of self-knowing? And this is for if you're in relationships, if you're out of relationships. Libra is a very diplomatic sign. It's about going back to the drawing board and seeing what works and what's not, and having open, honest dialogue, at least with yourself, if not with the other. Not to stir up relationship issues, but if the issues are there, bring them out to the surface and talk about them without judging yourself or judging other, or criticizing self or criticizing other, or guilting self or guilting the other. It's not about that. We're neutralizing the judgment, the criticism, the claim to rightness. Nobody's right and nobody's wrong in this energy, okay? This is a neutralizing energy. This is seeing yourself in the other and making right by yourself and owning your own reactivity and your own creation of whatever situation you're in. Co-creation, because it takes the other to tango, right? So this is really about one-on-ones, and not to stir up relationship stuff, but get a third-party facilitator, go to a relationship coach, and be supported in the dialogue of I want more from myself, for myself. I know I need more time to cultivate friendships. I know I need more time to, cook and eat well and better and get better sleep and, these kinds of self-care things. And, just kind of claiming that in the conversation and having the reflection of the other. This can be a really interesting time for just going back to the drawing board and set your intentions, sow your seeds, and make new declarations and commitments to loving the feminine. Open your heart and breathe in love and breathe out love. Breathe in love and breathe out love. Okay, well, if you have any questions, send me an email. If you want a spiritual guidance session, I'm not a relationship coach for partnership. I coach the individual to become more self-realized, fully realized, full potential realization. And I'm only going to encourage you to strengthen you. I don't give advice on relationship. I can only encourage you to create more of a container of self-love. Okay? So if you come to me, that's the space that I hold. And because that's the journey that I've been on, I've really been cultivating and growing in this journey of realizing the soul potential and really loving self through that process of becoming, because it's a lot of letting go and transformation, and right. So, and that's I didn't even talk about that, but that transformation energy is where Venus is in Scorpio. It is death and transformation. So we are going through the chrysalis. We're building a chrysalis right now, and we'll emerge as the morning star butterfly on the other end. But we're in a 40-day chrysalis, so it's dark, it's darkness, and Venus isn't the happiest there, but it's critical and important to go through this alchemy. So if you want support in this alchemy process and building a safe container, reach out to me and we can work on this, and we can utilize the tarot or oracle cards as well to help facilitate the conversation. Lots of different things we can do. But for now, happy new moon in Libra. May it be rich, may it be blessed, may it be loving, and may it honor the feminine within you and all around you. Okay, love is in the earth. Much love.